the All-Star Game format has changed for 2026, and there's a possibility it could actually play into the favor of a certain Raptors player. So let's look at the new format, give our thoughts on it, and then assess which Raptors players have the best chance of getting there, and if there's a possibility of any of them getting there, or maybe even more than one player getting to that Los Angeles All-Star Game. They're looking to shake things up this season. They are looking to find something that is a little bit more entertaining. And what a lot of people have pitched is a Team USA versus World All-Star Game format. And I feel like the NHL has inspired a lot with All-Star Game formats for this season, because the NHL ditched their typical All-Star Game format last season, and a lot of leagues have started to move away from like the East versus West format. The NHL went to like 4 different teams playing like scrimmages, and then last year they went to a different thing, which was the Four Nations face-off. They had Team Canada, Team USA, Team Sweden, and Team Finland, and that was an absolutely electric tournament. Absolutely electric. You saw best-on-best hockey for these countries, which you hadn't seen in a long time because of the changes that were made to the Olympic structure, and players were up and excited for it. So I think the NBA has taken a little bit of inspiration from that. We wanted Team USA versus Team World. We're not getting that, and perhaps it's just because we don't have enough players that would actually make it from Team World. So what the NBA has done here, the All-Star Game format is going to be a 3-team format, round-robin tournament, 4 12-minute games. We have 2 Team USA teams and 1 World team. So 24 total players, 8 players for each team, 12 from each conference selected without regard for position. So my favorite thing about this is that there is no regard for position. If you are a top 12 player in your conference, you are an all-star. You're not going to be taken out of consideration because you're a forward and there's already too many forwards in the team. I think that's great. And basketball has become more and more positionless over time. That's a really great adjustment. As for the format itself, I mean, you guys give me your thoughts. Put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. I don't think this is going to save the All-Star Game. I don't think this is going to make the All-Star Game any more entertaining. Like, the magic of the Four Nations face-off was how bad each team wanted to win it. Like, I was so hyped watching Canada win that in the NHL last year. That was awesome. I had some great times watching the tournament. I don't imagine I'm going to have those same great times here. Like, when you think of the Team World that's going to be present, like, Jokic and Doncic are going to be on it, and they will not give a shit about this game. I don't think that this is going to provide a ton of excitement, nor do I think it's going to make the players excited about playing in it. But beyond that, what is interesting is the possibility of players who are not from the United States of America maybe having a better shot than normal of making it into an all-star team. Last season, if I'm not mistaken, there were 5 international players in the NBA All-Star Game, and we need 8 this season. So I think that first and foremost, this makes a pretty interesting case for RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett has played really well this season. His most recent game against Brooklyn wasn't that great, but he's played really well this season. And if he can tick these numbers up maybe even a little bit more, it really kind of thrusts him into this conversation, especially as a Canadian player who could represent the world team at that All-Star Game. RJ Barrett, 20 points per game this season, 51% from the field, which is fantastic, 35% from 3, which is fine. He's averaging 61% on twos, which is way up compared to last season, and his true shooting percentage is still above 60. It is. True shooting percentage is 61%, which is absolutely fantastic for him and for us, for the Raptors. It's been great. RJ Barrett has played extremely well this season. Is this enough to get into an all-star team? Well, I think no, typically, but let's try and decipher like which players would be able to get in ahead of him for this Team World. The obvious 5, maybe the 5 best players in the league: Victor Wembanyama, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Immediately, 5 players take up spots on the world team. There could be injuries that could give him a little bit more space to make it, but those 5 immediately. The next 3, now some conversations can kind of take place. Let me know who you guys think would fill out the next 3 based on what we've seen so far this season. But in my mind, if you're picking right now, you probably have to go with Josh Giddey because he has been great this season. If he can continue that, I don't know, but if he does, he might make an all-star team here. Other players to kind of factor into this conversation, Alperen Şengün, I think, of course, he's got a really good shot of making it, and I think this change to the world format will actually give him a boost, and I think he'll make it. Then you go to maybe a Franz Wagner, but Orlando haven't been fantastic this season. Still a lot of time before this comes into play. Maybe Karl-Anthony Towns, depending on his eligibility towards this, because he did represent the Dominican Republic at FIBA level, so I don't know if they will consider him for that, or like Joel Embiid if he's playing well. I don't even know what they would consider him as because he's like Cameroonian, but he's French, but he played for Team USA at the Olympics. I don't know. And then there's RJ Barrett, who I think might have a chance to sneak in if he's playing really well. There's some tough names there. In the end, I don't think RJ will make it, but I think this format plays into his hands a little bit more. Now, other players who could factor in, the Raptors have 2 one-time All-Stars in their ranks who could command some consideration here. And first and foremost, you've got Brandon Ingram, who has flown pretty extremely under the radar this season. He's putting up some terrific numbers, 21.4 points per game, taking less shots than last season, but been more efficient with those shooting opportunities, shooting above 50% from the field. That would be the first time he's done that in his career, but he's been close a few times. 3-pointers have come down to the start of the season. He's down to under 30% from 3, but rebounds a little bit up compared to normal. Assists, I would like to see those climb up a little bit, but maybe the ball in his hands a little bit less. Gives him a true shooting percentage of 59.9, which is terrific. He's been a mid-range assassin this season, as you would expect. I think Ingram's got some potential to get in, but where the Raptors will likely be in the standings, it'll be difficult for them to get multiple All-Stars. It's going to be difficult for them to get one All-Star in particular. Like, you'd really have to be higher up in the Eastern Conference, I think, to get that consideration. Especially for, like, if the Raptors, like, they're sharing the ball a lot, the usage is being dispersed, so nobody's really, getting into the mid-20s for points per game. But I think if the Raptors were to get one All-Star, that would have to go to Scottie Barnes for a second time. 19.5 points per game this season, 50% shooting from the field, ridiculously shooting 44.4% from 3. I don't expect that to continue, but he's shooting the ball much better this season. And his shot selection has improved dramatically compared to last season, which I think is aiding his field goal percentage very, very much this season. We're finding better ways to utilize his minutes. We're finding better lineups to give him some more spacing, and he is absolutely taking advantage of it. He's also averaging 7.4 rebounds and 4.9 assists. His true shooting percentage, I think, is a little bit lower than the other players, but I mean, it's still 59% after 11 games in the season. So obviously a lot of time to go here, but I think that the way the Raptors have looked right now, the way their schedule looks upcoming, I think that they're very much setting themselves up to get an all-star. I think the most likely player to get that is Scottie Barnes. As for the second most likely player, I think because of the new criteria that we're seeing here, it might actually be RJ Barrett. If we're playing like normal criteria, then I think it's beneficial for... I think it's more likely Brandon Ingram, but for this criteria here, where you need to fill in those team world players, and there could be injuries to Doncic, to Wemby, whoever else. RJ has got a shot of maybe getting into this position here and sneaking into an all-star team. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how much of this is sustainable for these players, but Barnes looks really good this season, and it's a really good sign when Barnes, he's been scoring really well, of course, but even when he's not, he's still impacting the game a ton and is still impacting winning a ton. For the Raptors to get 2 All-Stars, I think they'd really have to be like a top 4 team in the East. I don't really see them getting that high. For them to get 3 All-Stars, they'd have to be like a 1 seed, and that's just not going to happen. So maybe 1. I think there's a chance at 2. I really don't see 3 happening, but I really hope we get 1, get some representation back in the All-Star game, and keep the vibes up in the city of Toronto and with the Raptors organization.